This is John Lee, the author of The Wealth Dragon Way, and today I'm with Vincent Wong,
the author of Property Entrepreneur.
So those of you who are looking to invest in property and really get onto the property line, I'm going to just do a quick interview with Vince for you to show you some of the ways he's been able to buy lots of property and train lots of people to get into property without even using, the traditional ways of a mortgage or, saving for a deposit. So Vince, you want to tell people, like, how do you actually get started in property? How did you get started in property?
I bought my property going back 20 years ago. So I think most people know that getting on a property ladder, it just involves you getting a deposit, put together a deposit and get a mortgage. So it's not rocket science. You find that today it's harder to get a mortgage because the lending criteria is more strict, and the deposit you need to put down are higher than what you used to be. So we need to find creative ways of getting yourself started if you want to get on a property ladder. But contrary to what people believe, it's not always about getting a mortgage, because at the end of the day, what you have to think about why you want to buy a property is to make money in the future. So if there are other ways in which you can have the same end result, then you don't always have to get a mortgage.
So are you saying people who are, right now, a lot of people watching this, you may be renting, or maybe you've been looking to get onto the property ladder, but you've not been able to because you haven't been able to save money. So let's talk about people renting. Do you think renting's a waste of money?
Well, it is and it isn't, because if you're renting, you have a place to live. So you're paying for the right to enjoy the privilege of being in a property. So it's not really wasted in that respect. But what you definitely don't benefit from is the capital appreciation of the property. And we all know that property prices go up in the long run. And if you look at a lot of countries in Europe, for example, people actually rent for life. The laws out there are quite different. People can rent a property as long as they want, as long as they're paying the rent, the landlord can't kick them out. So many people choose to just rent. But I think here in the UK, people want to buy, they prefer to buy a property because they also want to make money with the property they live in. So the property becomes a home as well as your investment. So renting, of course, will not give you that benefit. But having said that, you don't always have to have a mortgage to buy a property in order for you to make money in property. So another concept would be to get into property as a business and using property as a vehicle to make money. And these properties are not going to be your home. So you have to separate your own property from your property business. It's a different thing altogether.
So obviously, you're a property millionaire. How did you buy so many houses? Did you just have lots of cash and you just buy it, or do you have to use different financing strategies or financing vehicles? For people watching this, how can they get started in property? And I know you've taught people who now own 50 to 100 properties. It's crazy. How is that even possible?
Well, I think it involves a very different mindset altogether. The initial challenge is to put together enough deposit to buy your first house. But if you can somehow take that money back out of the property soon after you complete, then you can use this money to pay back whoever you borrowed it from, or you can use this money to reinvest. And this is a concept called recycling your money. So the way to do it is to buy a property, and you don't have to wait for years to refinance, to take your deposit back out. If you buy at below the market value, and that means the value is up here, but you're paying a price far less than what it is worth, you can almost instantly refinance to take back your initial deposit. So this way, you keep recycling your money. What happens with most people is that they pay full price for the property, and then they have to wait for years for the value to go up above the price they pay for. So that means they have to wait for years before they can refinance and get the deposit back out. And that will stop people from building a property portfolio. So what you need to do is to learn how to buy assets at below the market value and refinance. And then you keep recycling your money. And that explains how people can buy 5, 10, 20 or 100 properties within a relatively short space of time.
And actually what people do, and I know you've taught a lot over the last 10, almost 2 decades been in property.
I'm that old.
But also, but you've also taught a lot of people how to do that as well. And a lot of your students do this because they want to buy a property and then they actually rent them out. And let's say the mortgage on a property is £500, and they can rent them for, you know, £800 or £1,000, and they make some, what we call, you know, cash flow. So that's one of the reasons why people buy houses. Another reason why people buy houses and you know, who don't like properties, you talk about this concept of flipping. So do you want to just tell people how that works?
You know, can I say something? You look at my lifestyle now. I've come a very long way from where I was working in a chemist shop counting tablets as a pharmacist, going back 15, 20 years ago. I would not be where I am today if I had just done what everyone else does, which is buy to let. You know, the buy to let is a very old-fashioned way of making money in property. In fact, the game is almost dead. If you're relying on your rental income to give you a passive income, if your boiler breaks down, it's going to wipe out all your profits in one fell swoop. So it is not what people think. So the strategies I teach people actually would involve a very, very different mindset and a very different methodology altogether. And I'm talking about using property as a vehicle for you to make money. You know, if you're talking, people are so obsessed with buying. Let me ask you, if you don't pay your mortgage and you're a homeowner, what's going to happen? Right, you're going to get repossessed. So you don't really truly own that property. Right, property investing is not about ownership. Right, it's about using property as a vehicle for you to make money. And I want you to think about this very carefully. I want you to contemplate on it. If you have got assets worth £1 million, right, or maybe £1 million house, if you can get 1% discount on that, and you make that 1% and put it in your pocket, that's equivalent to £10,000. Right, just 1%. Right. And if you have the ability to get 20% discount and you translate that into cash, how much do you think will go into your bank account?
A lot.
Yeah, right. So property is nothing but a vehicle. So rather than just trading stocks and shares, or maybe buying and selling goods or items or merchandise, property is the highest value medium of exchange in which you can through which you can make a lot of money. Yeah. So it's not about ownership. It's about using property to make money now and make a lot of it and make it fast. In fact, you're going to be in Manchester talking about this as well. And by the way, any of you, if you want to learn how to start getting involved in property, you want to learn from Property Millionaire, an entrepreneur, and you definitely need to see some of the strategies that Vince is teaching right now, and also a lot of stuff he writes in his book as well. So if you guys would like to attend, just head to johnleemanchester.com, www.johnleemanchester.com. And right now we're giving 100 free tickets away to everybody who registers right now. But I will just say that there is a no-show fee. So if you register but you don't show, we are charging £100 no-show fee. If you show up, we don't charge you anything. It's completely free. So what we're going to do is, once you register, you put your name and details in, and then when you get to the next page, we're just going to take a £1 test payment, which is fully refundable and upon request, just to make sure that you're serious and that you will going to show. Vince, one last thing. What would you say the biggest mistake people make when they start investing in property? Well, I think people make a lot of mistakes in property, and I think the biggest one probably is putting all your eggs in one basket and putting a lot of cash down, and you can't see that cash for many years to come. So you might be so relatively asset rich, but you'll be very cash poor. You know what, just come along, and I can't really explain everything now. You come along and I'll show you a few things, and one particular strategy, I want to show you some examples and real case studies of how some of our students make enough money in one property deal that is equivalent to 2 to 7 years of their salary.
Wow, that's amazing. So those of you that want to learn, just head to www.johnleemanchester.com, or there's a link around this video. Click that link, get yourself registered, and we'll see you there. Bye for now.